My name is Nancy Siew. I am very active in the community and I really enjoy meeting people. As the president of Asian Heritage Month, I meet lots and lots of people, Chinese, Indians, Filipinos, all kinds of people, and I get to understand what they're dealing with. Because most of them, you just have to look at the Chinese boys and girls. They're all very, very accomplished. They're good at studies, they work hard and all that. But why do so many of them still can't find a job? There is something there which is holding them back. And I do hope that one day I will be able to, help everybody, not individually, but to understand how to establish themselves in this society. I don't want to stereotype people, but the problem is, I think, because I went to university here, and I observe things. And I think what they do is because they feel that their English is not the best, rather than trying to learn English and to speak English, they stick with their own. And no matter where they go, they chatter in Chinese, they speak whatever dialect they are comfortable with. And I know that there are engineering students, for example, that I know personally, after 4 years in Canada, they still can't speak English. Why? Because they don't try, And another thing is, well, I understand, it's a comfort zone. You're more comfortable with your own people, but if they never venture out of their own milieu, never venture out of their own society, they don't understand why certain things, they're very subtle, that the white people do, and they don't understand why they do those things. They never get to realize, appreciate, or understand, 为什么他们这个样子啊？好不乖的, So what I'm trying to say is I blurt in a couple of Chinese just to illustrate the point. When they're together, they speak in their own language, and they forget the rest of the world don't understand. And they speak very loudly, and they would point at people and laugh and say, hey. But that doesn't happen all the time. But even if they don't point at people, they laugh among themselves. You may not be talking about them, but they feel uncomfortable. Let's say if you and I were in an elevator with some people, and they were chattering and they were laughing and all that, you don't feel comfortable either. So people may consider them rude. Whether they're rude or not, I don't know, So anyway, these are some of the little things that people might have to think about and be careful about when they're in public. Of course, you're at home, you should enjoy yourself. But when you're in public, when they're in public, they should be more aware of the people around them. Well, I think there's many ways that they can find out. Because first of all, they have to be willing to step out of their own group. Because there's so many Chinese people here. You can go to the bank without knowing English. You can have a doctor who is English, doesn't speak English, right? You can have an accountant. You can have everybody that without knowing English. But if you don't step out of your milieu, then you would never be comfortable, and you would never know, because everybody is Chinese and they do all the Chinese things, so to speak. And another thing is, they should learn to mix. Your neighbor, for example, is a non-Chinese person, if they are friendly, they are not nasty or anything, then you can eventually make friends with them. But not all white people or Caucasian people know the etiquettes. But, if it's okay for them, to just join them. Now, so first of all, you mix. Then the next thing is you observe. When you come out to these public places, you observe. And lastly, you ask. Ask people who know. And also, you should, I should say, people who want to know, they should watch TV that is not Chinese. Because if you stay home and you watch the 评长, all the about emperors, dowager, 骑士, you're not going to learn about what Canadians are like, right? And also be very open-minded about things. And I strongly encourage people to watch television, non-Chinese television. Maybe just spend half an hour, watch the news. Because when you have the news, then you have a picture to look at, and then you learn the words, right? Yeah. I think that's quite an art, but there are some basics. Now, I don't want you to think that I'm trying to promote my work here, but one of my work is to help people succeed. They give a good impression. They dress nicely. Now, mind you, we have two parts of ourselves. There is a part which is we meet the public. There is the part which is something else. I want to illustrate there are two parts of us, and you give an impression to people, and people look at you differently. Now, I'm going to, when you're done, I'm going to take this off, I'm going to change my hairstyle, I'm going to put on something very casual. You'll think, oh, is that, So how you want to project your image is very important. You have to think along that line. For very formal dinner, you would need a nice dress. Depends on what kind of dinner. Some are floor length, some are knee length, but it all depends on the occasion. And you can wear, for Chinese, the best thing is you wear a changshan, qipao. Perfect. No arguments, because that is your tuxedo, right? So that is important. Yeah, and for the gentlemen, I do hold courses sometimes, and I teach certain things, what not to do in Canadian society, how to dress for success, professionally and in other occasions. When you represent your company, you represent the university, you want to look your best. You, as they say, you put your best foot forward. And I also teach people about the different, say, table manners, and things like that. I would dress more conservatively. There are things which one should not wear. T-shirts with no neck, with no collar. Always something with collar, and dress pants, jeans. Well, students, they all wear jeans. They thought, well, my jeans cost me $1,000 Canadian. They have diamonds there. They have Swarovski crystals. Even no matter how expensive your jeans are, they are still jeans. Jeans originally were for farmers in the field. And now as time went on, they became very mainstream. But still, those are not the kind of things you would wear to a formal dinner. But it all depends, because if you have dinner with the president, of course you would dress to the T. But if you're all having fun, a graduation dinner, and everybody was having a beer and not wine, things like that, it's lots of things to learn. You don't have to learn everything, but one does not want to 出洋相. Is that how you say it? Yeah, you don't want to lose face, is Chinese saying, right? I'm going to illustrate a point for you. I'm going to put this on, and just very quickly. And I'm going to put this on. And you take my right. Just here. Now, I want to illustrate 2 points. First of all, there is one side of us which is formal, we meet the world. There is the other side of us which is myself. I work in the garden, I go like this, I dig in the soil. That's me. That's my person. And it doesn't matter. I don't have to be this lady all the time. But if you're going for a job interview, you go in like this, people will say, where does she come from? Does she not know how to dress? But by the same token, you are dressed up all the time with your fascinator and all that, people will think, no, I don't want to approach her. She is too snobbish. You know what I mean? So we have to have a balance between this and that.